Good morning, children. Today we will start our next topic of chapter 4, that is basic documents of a company. Basic documents we have studied. I have told you many times the basic documents of a company are Memorandum of Association, Article of Association, and third one is prospectus, or we can say or statement in lieu of prospectus. So what you can say is we have studied about public companies and private companies. So for private companies we can say, or we can say for public companies, what are the documents required? We have to prepare memorandum of association, article of association, and prospectus, because in public companies we can collect money from general public. Therefore, to collect money from the general public, we have to issue prospectus in the market. But for the private company, we cannot collect money from the general public. Therefore, only two documents are required, that is memorandum of association and article of association. This is very important. Always keep in mind, for public companies, three documents are required, that is memorandum of association, article of association, and prospectus. And for private companies, two documents are required, that is memorandum of association and article of association. So starting with the first document, that is memorandum of association. Memorandum of association, you can say it is a basic document of a joint stock company, and it is also known as the charter of the company. And you can say that it is a document which contains the fundamental rules regarding the constitution and activities of a company, how the company will be formed, and what are the activity which will be performed by the company. It lays down the objects and scope of activities of a company, and a memorandum also states the limit to which a company can move. It set up the limit. That limit means till here it can do, above that it cannot do. So memorandum of association also set the limit for a company. If a company move beyond that limit mentioned in the memorandum of association, it shall be considered at ultra vires. Thus, a memorandum of association is also known as, what is written here, charter of the company. Now, some of the definition which is given in your book is, according to Lord Cairns, the memorandum of association of a company is its charter, and it defines the limitation of the power of the company. It defines the power of the company. The memorandum contains the fundamental condition upon which alone the company is allowed to be incorporated. According to Indian Companies Act, you can say that memorandum means the memorandum of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company act. Now, next is, what is the importance of memorandum of association? It is basis of incorporation. If a company has to start, they have to prepare memorandum of association, informing the, in memorandum of association, what is mentioned: name is mentioned, object is mentioned, capital is mentioned, liability is mentioned, and who are the outsiders of the company. Then determining the extent of working of the company, an unalterable document determining the relationship between the company and others. So what are the clauses which is written in the memorandum of association? Clauses or contents of memorandum of association, that is name clause, registered office clause, objective clause, liability clause, capital clause, association clause. These are the clauses, or you can say content of memorandum of association. First of all, name clause. In name clause, the company, by the name, you can say that company's name should be written. The name of the proposed company is mentioned in this clause, and the name of a company must end with the word limited. If a company is a public company, it should end with limited, and if a company is a private company, it should end with private limited. Okay, for public company it should end with limited, whatever name it is. If it is a private company, it should end with private limited. The name should not be identical with the name of any existing company. Next content is situation clause, or you can say that registered or domicile clause. The company is required to state the name of the province in which the office is situated, where the registered office is situated, or where domicile it is. The name should be mentioned there. Their exact address should be given there. The name of the state in which the registered office of the company is to be situated is mentioned in this clause. This clause also determines the jurisdiction of the registrar of the companies and the court. The creditors, customer, government know the whereabout of the company. Next one is objective clause, or you can say object clause. This clause states the object with which the company is proposed to be established. Now, in this clause, what is mentioned? Why the company, for what purpose the company is established. In this clause, that is mentioned. It is the essence of memorandum. It is clearly defines the sphere of the company activities. It indicates a series of objects, that is main objectives, subsidiary objectives, or other objectives. Next is liability clause. Liability clause. In this clause, it states the nature of liability of members. What is the liability of the members of the company, whether it is limited by share or guarantee or unlimited. Everything is limited, whether it is a limited company, whether it is a unlimited, whether it is limited by share. Everything should be mentioned here. Next is capital clause. Capital clause. In this clause, the total capital of the proposed company should be mentioned. What is the capital of that business? It should be mentioned here. The amount of capital as stated in the memorandum is known as authorized capital of the company. Next is association clause. In this clause, name, address, signature, and description of the signatories of the memorandum of the members or the directors of the company is mentioned here. Next is requirement. The memorandum of every company must be printed, divided into paragraphs, numbers consequently. It should be signed by subscribers and witnessed, and it should be dated. Signing of the memorandum, who should sign? It should be signed by each member, who shall add his name and surname in full, occupation, father's name, everything should be written with sign. Next is alteration of memorandum. Alteration also can be done in memorandum of association. So first of all, if there is a alteration in the name clause, by a special resolution at a general meeting with the written approval of the central government, name can be changed. If the name registered by its identical to the name of existing company, the registered name can be changed by passing an ordinary resolution and by obtaining a written consent of the central government. Now, name can be changed by some rules. Next is alteration of registered office. Alteration of registered office means registered office where it can be changed in the it can be, if all the members can want, it can be changed. If the registered office is to be shifted from one locality to another with the same country, an ordinary resolution is sufficient. If the registered office has to be shifted from one place to one locality to other locality, but in the same city, a simple resolution can be done. Next is, if registered office is to be shifted from one city to another city, a special resolution has to be passed. Next is, if a registered office is to be shifted from one state to another state, a special resolution along with the sanction of the court is required. Special resolution is also required and an application from the court is also required. Next is, any alteration in the object clause. The company may change its object by adopting the following procedure: by passing a special resolution. The object of the business can be changed by passing a special resolution, by filing the special resolution with the registrar of the company within 1 month from the date of such resolution. It can be done. Next is alteration of capital clause. Now, a limited company having a share capital may alter its capital clause by passing an ordinary resolution in the general meeting for the following purpose. Now, if there is an increase in the share capital, then consolidating and dividing its capital into share of larger amounts, converting its fully paid up shares into stock, reconverting stock into fully paid up shares. But for the deduction of share capital, a special resolution and confirmation by the court are necessary. These are the alterations that can be done in Memorandum of Association. This was all about Memorandum of Association. In the next lecture, we will study the next document of a company, that is Article of Association. Till then, thank you.